Welcome back to another Sunday prep day. If you're new here, every Sunday I prep for the week. So that means cutting all my vegetables, and most weeks I also make things like soup, stews, sauces, that kind of stuff. But this week I'm just cutting up some vegetables. If you want to follow along, every time I post a Sunday prep day video, I also post over on Instagram with the before and after of the prep, my meal plan, every ingredient that I plan on using for the whole week, so not just things you see me prep, but also the meat, the sauces, condiments, accoutrements, etc. So, as always, I'm going to start by cutting up some vegetables, and then I'll start going over the meal plan. And in my ingredient list, I did write down 1 onion, half diced, half sliced, but I have really small onions, so I'm just using 2. And this one I'm just dicing up. So the meal plan for this week. Well, first off, let me start. It's just going to be lunch and dinner. I don't usually have breakfast just because I'm not a breakfast person. And most of my lunches are low-carb, keto-friendly because I'm diabetic. I have to cut some carbs. And I found the easiest way for me to do that was to cut them from lunch. But I do have my cheat days on the weekend when I have sandwiches. So the first meal I'm going to mention is lunch for Sunday. That'll be some sandwiches with some chicken breast slices, some cucumber, maybe some lettuce. But the rest of my lunches will mostly be low carb. So then for dinner tonight, I'm gonna have some chicken breast with some green beans and some potato wedges. And the potato wedges I'll just air fry, get them nice and crispy. Then for tomorrow, for Meatless Monday, for lunch, I'm going to do some hummus with some crudités. So I'll do some carrots, some cucumber, some peppers in different colors. I'll try to get as many colors as possible on my plate. And I even have a purple carrot today, so it will be very colorful. I'll have every color except for blue, so I'll probably just do a blue plate. Then for dinner on Meatless Monday, I'm going to do some falafel with a couscous salad. So the couscous salad I'll make with couscous that I steeped in some vegetable stock, because it is Meatless Monday after all, can't use chicken stock. And some lime juice, and I'll mix that with a bunch of chopped up parsley, diced up peppers, cucumber, some spring onion. Nice and flavorful. I'll make some harissa mayo to go with that. And I'll probably also have some pickled vegetables on the side. I'll use pickled vegetables a lot this week because it will be hot. So I'm going to make meals that require some minimal cooking, especially later on in the week. So that is garlic done. I'll have that in a couple of things that you'll hear me mention in a bit. So here I have some spring onions. I'm mostly just going to use them for a garnish. I have a whole bunch still that I need to work through, so I'll try to throw some on every time I make my meal plan. So I'll have these with my couscous salad, for example, as well as some other things. So meal plan, we were on Tuesday. For lunch, I'm gonna have some chicken lettuce wraps. So I have some mini romaine lettuce. I'll take some leaves. I'll have some some chunks of chicken on there that I'll saute, and lots of veggies like peppers, chilies, onions, garlic, spring onions, that kind of thing. I don't know yet how I'm going to season the chicken. We'll just figure that out. I have plenty of seasoning options in my pantry. Plenty of spices. So that can go there. And then Tuesday for dinner, I do Taco Tuesdays. I'm going to take some hard shell tacos. And I'll do that with ground chicken and just basically all the veggies. And I'll use some tomato puree to make like a sauce seasoning kind of thing. And here I have some chilies. I just have different kinds of chili for the jalapenos, and I forget what the other one's called, the serrano. I'm not entirely sure, but I'll take the seeds out of that because that's just a lot of seed. And then the cayenne, I'm not gonna bother taking the seeds out. Too much work, and there's not a lot of seed, but like big seeds in the pith like that, I want to get rid of. And then the chilies I just de-seeded, I'll just slice up. And the jalapeno I'll just slice up, leaving the seeds in. Not jalapeno, cayenne, I mean. There we go, that is chilies. Then I have a bunch of peppers. So I'll just cut the cheeks off and then just try to get as much of the actual pepper off as possible. So don't waste a bunch and just throw away the actual core. So that's the peppers cut up. I'm gonna need some sticks for my crudités. So some I'll just cut into long strips. And I'll do that for all the colors. There we go, and then the rest I'll cut into dice. And the same with all the little offcuts that I have. And again, I'll do this for all the colors, and this will go in my couscous salad, in my tacos. I'll probably mix them in with my chicken patties as well. Oh yeah, because I don't think I mentioned that yet, because we're on Wednesday for the meal plan for lunch on Wednesday. I'll have some chicken burgers, but instead of rolls, I'm gonna have them on some lettuce buns, basically. So then for dinner on Wednesday, I'm gonna do probably a rice bowl with chicken, but I'm flexible. I'm gonna have chicken, but I can have for several meals this week. I'm just gonna mix and match, basically. I have rice, I have different kinds of noodles, I have some grains. What else do I have? Well, we're going to use couscous with my couscous salad. But yeah, I just have a whole bunch of different options I can use. I think I'm going to use rice for this, but it could be noodles, it could be grain. Same with the other bowls later this week. And I'll have that with some kind of sauce. I have gochujang sauce, I have Korean barbecue sauce. I'm gonna do like a sriracha mayo for one meal. I'll just decide on the day itself, so it's gonna be a mix and match day. I have frozen peas, I have frozen edamame both in the shell and out of the shell, so that will be a side. And I have all kinds of different pickled vegetables that I'll have on the side as well. I have pickled onions, pickled red cabbage, pickled carrot, pickled pepperoncini. I have gherkins. I have, I don't know, kimchi. All kinds of different pickled and fermented things. So again, I'll just decide with every meal what I'm in the mood for most. And I'll probably do like a fried egg on top. But yeah, so in my meal plan, I have said rice with chicken, but yeah, it can be any, and the sauce we'll just decide on that day. I know roughly which sauce I'm going to use throughout the week, but which one exactly for what day, we'll just see. That's why I like prepping the ingredients, not the whole meals. So I still have some flexibility, and I can do basically a lot of options when it comes to the day itself. So I have one of these pointy peppers. These are sweet peppers, not spicy. So I'm gonna cut out the seeds and dice this up as well, and I'll put that in with my bell peppers. So while I cut this up, let's finish off the meal plan for Thursday for lunch. I'm gonna have more lettuce wraps with chicken and veggies, any of the veggies I've prepped, and seasoning to be determined. And then for dinner on Thursday, I have planned a noodle bowl with chicken, but the same thing applies. Exactly which sauce, which starch, which pickles, etc. I'll just decide that on the day itself. I know it's going to be with chicken because I need to take that out of the freezer. And I know I'm going to use peas and edamame throughout the week, but exactly which I'm going to do with which meal, we'll just see. So if you just start with cooking, by the way, bowls are amazing because they're very simple to make and they're very flexible. And you can just start off by using a lot of like store-bought sauces and store-bought pickles and things like that. And then when you get more experience, you can just change things up, you know, makes the things from scratch. Like I have some pickled vegetables that I was store-bought, but I also have some homemade pickled vegetables. You can just do that, just learn as you go along. You just start by having like the basically modular meals, find out what you like, what goes well together, and just work from there. So I'm just cutting up some potatoes. Those are to go in the air fryer tonight with my chicken breast and my green beans. So let's see here. I have some cucumbers. I'm going to cut some into sticks. This is about the length I want. Don't worry, this is not going to go to waste. I'll cut around the core because I don't want all the seeds because it's floppy. You can't really dip that in hummus very well. These I'll cut into bite-sized pieces. Then I'll do the same for this one. And these cores I'll just have a snack. And what I'm doing here, I'm taking a third in my little guide. I wrote 2 Persian cucumbers, but I'm not going to do 2 whole ones. I'm going to do parts of 3 that equal about 2 cucumbers because I want this length. Like if I cut off the longer piece for my crudités, then I'll be left with like this for sticks, which I don't want. So I'm gonna use parts of 3, and then what is equivalent to 2, and then these ends I'll just slice up, and that's what I'll use for my sandwiches. So instead of doing like a whole one in slices, I'm gonna do a third of 3, which equals a whole. That way I just have as little waste as possible. I hope it made sense how I explained that. It made sense in my head. But yeah, that is cucumber. And we're sticking on the crudités theme. I have some carrots. I found a purple carrot, so I'm just gonna peel that. And that would look really nice with my crudités as well. But yeah, I'll just peel all of these carrots real quick. I wrote down 2. I'm using 2.5 because I found a half one left over from last time in my fridge, so just gonna use that up. Can't really go wrong with a little bit of extra veg. Then just take off the tips and this end piece. And again, I want about the same size for my sticks. So that's about this size. Cut that into sticks for my hummus. And same goes for this carrot. I'm going to take it from the top because that's the straightest piece. If you see the bottom piece, that's like curved or tapered inwards. So that would be harder to cut nice sticks from. So I'll use the top end, which is straighter. And I'll just save this for a moment. The same for my purple carrot. Oh, these are actually all the way purple, like all the way through. A lot of them are only purple on the outside and the heart of it is orange. But yeah, this would look really nice on my plate with crudités. But what I'm going to do, since I have these little pieces left over, these little offcuts, I'll just cut those up and I'll use that for my things like my lettuce wraps and stuff. So these are not going to go to waste. I'll just use them. So I'll cut them in long strips first, then I'll dice them up. And my camera just overheated, so I had to let that cool down for a bit, mainly by putting a new battery in. So it's been really hot here lately, so I've had some overheating issues with my camera the last couple of weeks when I'm filming for too long. But here I have some parsley. I'm just going to cut that up. That's going to go in my couscous salad. I'm going to use a whole bunch. I'll just give it a rough chop first. And then I'll just keep running my knife through to get everything nice and fine. Just going to cut everything off the stems. I don't need the stems. I'll just get rid of those. Sometimes I use them for flavorings, soups and stocks, but I don't have any soup planned because it's been hot lately. So I'll just keep running my knife through. Also, I didn't finish my meal plan, did I? So we're on Friday for lunch. I'm gonna do some. I've seen this recipe where you take tuna, an egg, and some baking powder, and you blend that up, and you turn that into some keto bread. So I'll try that for Fish Friday, and I'll just have some cheese with that. And then for dinner, I'm gonna do another bowl with noodles, maybe, or some grains or whatever. I have options in my pantry. And I'll do this, probably the sriracha sauce. I'll have some salmon with that instead of just chicken. But the same applies. I can change the sauce, I can change the pickles, I can change the starch, whatever. And then the last thing to prep for this week, I have a bunch of green beans. Those are for tonight. And I'm just going to top and tail the whole bunch. Just doing a generous portion. There's not a lot of calories in green beans, so I like using a lot to make me feel full in a healthy way. And that is all the prep work done for this week. By spending, I don't know exactly how much it was because my camera died midway through, but it can't be more than 30 minutes. So by spending about 30 minutes on a Sunday, I have everything ready to go. It saves me a lot of time in the week because I have everything ready. I have no excuses to get takeout or not cook or whatever because everything is ready to go. But I still have flexibility because I prepped all the components and not the whole meals. But yeah, if you like this kind of content, I do this every single Sunday. And if you'd like to see what I ultimately do with all of this, you can check out my Instagram where I post every single meal, or you can check out the video that I post about once a month on here where I show you everything I eat in a day for a week, and I just posted one last Friday, I believe. Last week, Friday. So not 2 days ago, last week. But yeah, if that all sounds good to you, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, and thank you for watching. Until next time, bye for now.